it's the Clobber podcast.
What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another Clobber podcast. I'm Mick, joined by Tim. How you doing, Tim?
Yeah, not too bad. Just hoping this game gets on, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, is it going to go ahead? And then the team news just came out, which we will just go through that like quick, which is Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Reece Williams and Phillips centre half, Robertson left back, and then you've got midfield three of Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Thiago, and front three of Jota, Salah, Firmino. So Mane on the bench, you've got Adrian, you've got Kelleher, so two keepers on the bench with Mane. Then you've got Jones, Tsimikas, Shaqiri, Origi, Woodburn, and Neco Williams. Been a lot of shit going on, hasn't he, with the this game? Another protest. The bus getting blocked off. The tyres getting let down. Still don't know if that's if that was the right bus or not. But the team didn't arrive till about 10 minutes ago, so not great preparations for this one. But how are you feeling about that team, and how are you feeling about Mane being on the bench for that one?
Yeah, it's a stronger side, I think, as he can put out. I think Mane on the bench is a bit weird, to be honest. I thought that he probably would have kept him in the lineup given he scored last week. But outside of that, my only worry really is Reece Williams, just because of what happened to him in the FA Cup tie. I'm here to back him. You know, he's a kid at the end of the day, and he could clearly, play. But because of his lack of pace, he could get exposed by this Man United front line, and I assume that Rashford will be playing. And he had his problems with Rashford last time we met Man United. So that's my one concern about this 11 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the Man United team's out as well, which is Henderson in goal. You've got Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Bailly and Shaw. Midfield two of McTominay and Fred. Then three ahead of those, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes and Pogba, and then Cavani up front. So, yeah, strong. I mean, after the Leicester game on Tuesday, where they put out like 10 changes, only Greenwood kept his place, and you're like, you fucking little bastards, you've changed the whole team. And then they lose, but then Arsenal win yesterday, which gave us another lifeline. So tonight is pretty much a must win against a pretty much full strength United team, isn't it? Apart from Maguire.
Yeah, and that is a big hope, because he kind of is their model of consistency, so to speak. This is the first game he's missed since he's joined United, the first full game he's missed. So hopefully, that centre back partnership won't be particularly familiar. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. But yeah, this season just keeps kind of throwing us a bone. It's several times this season that we've kind of gone, it's opening right up for a top four, and it's been such a crappy season for Liverpool, and I've for about a month and a half now, I've been ready to let the season go and be done with it, and yet here we are with 4 games left going. There's a little chance we might just do it. So yeah, I honestly, either way, we're playing Man United. I hope we win. At the end of the day, whether we end up in the top 4 or not, it's a game against Man United. We always want to win this, and it's a huge one for Klopp, because his first win at Old Trafford in a season like this would be a big kind of a nice end to it, whether we get into the top 4 or not.
Yeah, well, if there's any result to spur you on to sneaking into top 4 positions, it's winning that. Your first ever win at Old Trafford in your tenure as manager in the league, anyway. So, yeah, I mean, some of the comments here are pretty good. There's one here from Who's That Behind the Start. Even lads nearly 90 minutes ahead. The scum of a lot of pace, so it's more important than ever we protect that back four. It is, and I suppose that's why he's gone, hasn't he, with the two, Reece Williams and Phillips there, and kept Fabinho in midfield, because when we put Fabinho back into defence for a couple of games, didn't we? And we drew both of them, so we need him in that midfield, don't we, to kind of obviously stem their flow, but just so he's in there and protect them. I mean, even if we're a few yards further back as a team to kind of cover for those centre halves, then that's probably to be expected, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think he's got Fab in the midfield slightly higher up the pitch, just because I think he's trying to keep an eye on the likes of kind of Pogba and Fernandes, and who better to do a job on them than Fab. I see this as a big game for Fab, because we've seen the way he controls the midfield, especially in a bigger game, and he has tended to step up in this type of a moment and even provide a goal. We talk about last season, the Man City game. Was it Man United as well? Oh no, it was City. Never mind. But it's always a big game for Fab, and to me, he is still the best player in his position in the world. I don't he's been in and out, so it's hard to kind of see any consistency from him in terms of being head and shoulders above the rest in that sense. But I'm expecting him to kind of to be running rings around the likes of Fernandes. I know Fernandes will be going down every time Fab gets near him. He'll probably trying to get him booked early, just so he's cautious around Bruno, and he won't be rushing into anything. But for me, I fancy Fab in that matchup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do. I hope he gives him a few good kicks, but then, like you said, he goes down like he's been shot in the head, doesn't he? So expect a lot of that tonight. But Dan's just jumped in with a comment there. It was rumours Mane isn't fit, so probably why he's on the bench. Same people said Ox was out, and he is. Yeah, fair play. I mean, Mane's a weird one, because we spoke to Neil Jones from a goal yesterday, and his prediction was Hotter on the bench in the usual front three. So, I mean, Mane's got a lot of shit this year, hasn't he? So I don't know. I mean, I feel a bit indifferent about that decision. What do you feel about it? Because he's not been great, and Hotter's obviously not scored for the last 6, so he could turn up tonight and bang a few, and then we're like, oh yeah, right decision. Or Bobby does some wizardry and we go, yeah, right decision. But maybe Mane coming off the bench might be a better way of doing it, so he's got that freshness towards the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And if it is a fitness issue, then you don't want to risk him picking up anything more serious. There's only a few games left to play, and it's not like Hotter's a massive drop off, in quality. So if he is just playing on the safe side, albeit, if not, I mean, like I said, it's not a massive drop off in quality, and especially considering the form Mane's been in this year. I mean, I would have liked to have seen him, like I said, considering he scored last week. Hopefully, start to pick up some semblance of last year's form towards the end of the season, so we had something to look forward to going into next year. But it is a strange one, to be honest with you. I thought he'd be in there, so I'm going to put it down to a fitness issue, or a small fitness issue, and just hope that it's nothing more serious than that, or just a Klopp kind of seeing Hotter being able to step in. But I would have played Firmino in this game anyway, I think, especially because he knew that Maguire wasn't likely to feature. I think he's trying to pull those two centre backs out of position, because I think that, like we've talked about, Maguire's played pretty much every minute for United since he arrived, and I think he's trying to take advantage of the fact that these guys aren't particularly experienced, and give them throw something different than the norm, which is just quick guys in behind, and make them drop kind of, drop deep, just to make sure that there's availability for the runs in behind. So it's an interesting selection, but I like I said, Hotter might come in and score 3 or 4, but then again, Mane might have done the same. So
yeah, I know, it's just that catch-22 in it, really. If whatever he picks, if it doesn't go to plan, then he's going to get a bit of shit for it. But Mane himself said, I think, was it last week, he said in an interview with Canal Plus that he doesn't know what's going on with his season this year. He had his body checked and all kinds of tests done to kind of see where he's at, and it's just not working. And I just think it's a case of he hasn't had a break from footy for God knows how long, years and years, probably when he was back at Southampton. And I'm hoping that this year will be the time that he gets that. And if we bring in a few more players as well, then he's not as much relied on as he is at the moment, because he's been top class for us every other year, hasn't he? So he's got enough credit in the bank, is what I'm saying, to kind of allow for a few poor performances.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly last year, even, he was the best left winger in the world, and you could have argued Neymar alongside of him. But for me, he was head and shoulders above the majority of anyone that was playing football last year. He was absolutely sublime. So for him to come off a season like this, without us knowing what the long-term effects of having COVID are, and the fact that he had it. And it's been a weird season, and no fans in the crowd, and all that kind of stuff. You give him a pass, and like you said, he's got plenty of credit. At the end of the day, he was a top 3 player, one of the most significant pieces in a Premier League title winning Liverpool side, and that's going to get you credit in the bank no matter the situation. So yeah, you just feel like it's a mental thing at this point. Either he's overtired, he's been overworked a little bit over the last couple of years, and you just feel like a good summer off for him, and getting some rest on those legs, and just a refresh mentally, and taking the pressure off him a little bit with, obviously because the Horta plays on the left as well. So that was one thing, that it was his position of all positions after the season he had, that we came in and put strength in. So yeah, there's a number of things that would have contributed to what he's feeling, but for me it's more of a mental thing, and he's probably just absolutely knackered, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is, and I'm hoping that, like you said, a bit of refreshment next year, and he can go again. But let's just go through a few more of these comments. Neil Perry on Facebook just said, "It's the hope that kills you, isn't it? I'm just glad JK kept his nerve and didn't move Fab back." Yeah, I think that would have been, if that would have happened, we would have been thinking, well, we're not going to win this game because we need Fab in that midfield for us to function properly, don't we, as well? So Doug said no Curtis Jones. I think he's on the bench, isn't he? So I mean, I don't know what's going on with Curtis Jones. He hasn't been in the team for a while, but I know he had a bit of an injury as well. So, yeah, Doug comments as well. Tonight's Mo Salah's 200th appearance for Liverpool. Yeah, I tweeted this earlier because done a show last week with the fella from Up to Joe, Michael Reed, and it was like the stats, man. The stats are just ridiculous for Mo Salah. I think in the 40s in assists and like 120 something goals. It's just like, he is just an absolute monster, isn't he? But I'm hoping tonight, 200th appearance against United at Old Trafford, not won there for 7 years. Even if it's a 1-0 and Salah scores, that'll just be fucking glorious, won't it?
Yeah, well, let's face it, any scoreline that favours Liverpool would be absolutely glorious. But yeah, I think Mo capping off a 200th appearance, considering the way he's played for the first 199, would be, a special moment, especially if it led to us winning at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah. I always feel nervous with any United game, but especially at Old Trafford. Even like you look at last year, like we went there, battered everyone, and then we only drew 1-1 with the Lallana late equaliser. So that says a lot about how we are. But I'm hoping tonight, like we said, they've kind of, the only impetus they've got at the moment is to kind of stop us from getting top 4, because they're guaranteed second pretty much. So they've only got the Europa League final to look for. So I'm hoping that obviously they've got a pretty much full strength squad, but apart from that, I'm hoping that the energy isn't quite there for them in terms of that. But Dan's just got in on the Mane debate, saying, "I think the sound of crowds' anticipation will make Mane shoot when he gets a chance and go down when he's fouled." Yeah, I think recently, fucking hell, there's been loads where Mane goes over and I'm like, what does he have to do to get like a foul? It's like he has to probably snap his leg to get a foul. It is really frustrating at times, isn't it? And I'm hoping, obviously, there's going to be 10,000 in Anfield on 23rd of May for Crystal Palace. That's going to be amazing. And then going forward, I'm hoping those increments increase, obviously, as lockdown lessens a little bit. And come next year, we've got at least a good portion of the stadium full. That'll be ideal, won't it? Especially, we rely on that more than any other team, don't we? And I think especially there's a lot of players there that do as well, like Samani, like Firmino. I think they are quite reliant on a crowd and an Anfield crowd to make them, yeah, as good as they are. I think that definitely helps them, doesn't it?
100%. It's always been a staple of every Liverpool side that, Anfield's always been a fortress, and there's, the 12th man, and the cop and the mystique of the place, and it's just one of those things in sports that it's just inexplicable, but it's a real thing. It's not something you can put on a stat sheet. It's not something that there's actually a physical 12th man on the field, but there's no team in world football that will ever have enjoyed coming to Anfield.
Yeah, well, Tim, I think we might leave it there. We're getting on for 15 minutes. I think the game, it looks like it's going ahead. I haven't heard anything else since. So 8:15 looks like it's going to kick off. Let's have a little a little score prediction. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool, and I think we're going to pull it out of the bag, out of our asses. I think it's going to be the last glimmer of hope, and we'll probably end up bottling top 4. But I think we'll snatch one at Old Trafford just for the just to make the season look a little bit nicer than it actually was.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, like, my heart says 1-0 to us, and my head just saying 1-1, or like score, or 0-0, just score, draw. But I'm hoping, like we said, they maybe take their eyes off the ball a little bit. Dan, 3-1 to the Manx. Come on, don't be doing that to us. Paul's gone for a 2-1 win, but yeah, it could be any of those. It could be literally anything. We just don't know. We obviously Arsenal has done us a major favour, and I'm hoping that'll give us some kind of kick up the arse. Going right, we've had one more lifeline here. We would need to take this. Otherwise, I mean, if we draw, it'd probably go to the end of the last game of the season, I think, because Chelsea play Leicester next, don't they? So it could go to the end of the season if we draw tonight. But a win would can definitely put us in the driving seat in terms of at least trying to sneak in there, especially when, I mean, it changes week on week, doesn't it? So we just don't know. If we win this, we could go to Burnley and West Brom. We could easily fucking draw either of those games anyway. So I suppose you just have to see. But yeah, we'll be back after the game. Me, Tim, and Jay at about, well, it depends what time it kicks off, but hopefully about 10:10 for the instant match review. So nice one, Tim, for coming on, and we'll see you about 10:10.